Hey there, YouTubers. This is AZ192368, aka Tomoyo Otagi. Coming with you with video update for June 11th, 2012. First off, I'm gonna start to say that when I went to Anime Next this past weekend, it was pretty good. Pretty darn awesome, actually. I went to a raid as well, my first ever raid, and this was my first, well, actually my fourth convention, but this is actually my first time cosplaying, which was pretty cool. And I really had a blast. Food is good, and the food was great in Jersey as well. So I ran into a lot of my friends. Today, the main reason why I'm doing this video, the primary reason, besides the update, this is a really important note. This is really important. As you may be aware or seen on TV or whatever, or over the net, doesn't matter where. Lately, law enforcement here in the United States, particularly, doesn't matter where in the States, but in certain instances, actually, this is actually commonplace every day with law enforcement. They abuse their power and they use excessive force, but luckily there's people who has a camera on them or whatever, and they catch cops doing, or should I say, misusing their power. So I back the people who are against police brutality or misusing their power, because basically this is Rodney King happening all over again every day, even though I was just a little child when this happened. Not just with random people, but also with Occupy Wall Street. Some people say, oh, they're doing it for free money or socialism or communism. No, because there's, let's just say greed in general, like corporate greed and stuff, has gone out of control, and they're trying to send a message. Not just Occupy Wall Street, but Anonymous is trying to send a message. All those other activist groups, that law enforcement is abusing their power, and there's certain people that's supposed to protect us or regulate things is allowing it, is letting it slide. Meanwhile, there's a few people out there, a few good ones, may I mind, who's against police brutality, who's against misuse of power or excessive force, is saying, listen, you gotta stop it. This is just going too far. We need to stop with the excessive force and run it down. And I just got done looking at this video it's labeled NYPD Walk of Shame. It was this protest. I forgot which part of New York, but most likely Manhattan, because I live in New York City myself, but I'm not going to say where exactly. Anyway, one of the girls, well, actually, one of the people who was protesting was in Occupy Wall Street. Mostly, primarily peaceful. There's a few violent ones out there, however, like the guy said he wanted to Molotov cocktail retail establishment or store. Come on, man, seriously? You want a Molotov cocktail with somebody? Dude, that's not a way to protest. The most way is peaceful interruption. Nobody gets hurt, and you don't have to have problems with the cops. Maybe except move away, but anyway, I'm not trying to side with anybody. Well, partly because cops are condemning human rights and all that stuff, the right to protest. So anyway, this girl, she's bashed to death. She looked like she was bashed or beaten by the cops, because they see protesters as a threat, which meanwhile she was peacefully protesting, not harming anyone, and they just beat the poor girl, like they just beat her up, and she's only 16, and there was like 7 cops dragging her to paddy wagon, as I like to call it. Most people like to call it paddy wagon, but I mostly call it a jet wagon that the NYPD drives around in sometimes when they're called to so-called control or do crowd control at protests and whatnot. Which really shocked me about that is how they handle it. There was people chanting, you anti-gay, you racist, sexist cops and all that, and then the cops didn't do nothing about it. All they did was drag the poor girl. There's people even screaming out, why you don't get her an ambulance? She's bleeding to death. Why you don't get an ambulance? I'm like, there is seriously something wrong with these cops. They're abusing their power. I don't just notice it with that, but almost in every instance, even with Sean Bell. It's just crazy, man. Cops out there, especially in this country, has no regards for, don't care who you are. If you're not a cop or politician, we don't give a rat's butt about you, because we're allowed to do whatever we want, because we own you practically, and, or should I say, we own the roads and stuff. So if you don't follow us, we'll seriously ram you down and possibly kill you or put you in jail for interfering. I say that was not interfering. That was just peaceful protest. She was not hurting anybody, and you guys have to come walking on in. Before I continue, I'm not trying to bash law enforcement, because sometimes, well, they are useful from time to time, but there's a few good cops out there. I believe there's a few good cops, but most of them are just crazy, reckless types, like I was just talking about in the video. One who sees us, not just minorities, but protesters and all that, as meal tickets. Most of these cops are from Long Island or Jersey or somewhere, and they don't do diplomacy. They're very violent and they're very aggressive. They don't care about if this person's innocent or not, and even if it's a kid. And I'm glad there's policies being passed, like here in New York State, Governor Andrew Cuomo is decriminalizing, or should I say, he's decriminalizing cannabis, small amounts of cannabis. It won't be seen as a criminal offense. Instead, it'll be seen as just, a simple citation fine, instead of putting the kids or whoever through the legal system, which is a waste of taxpayer money, because states like California, more money is spent on prisons. Get this, anyone who's watching this around the world or whatever, more money in that state per capita is spent more on prisons than the education system. You believe that crap? If you don't, then you're just misinformed and just confused and just rely too much on the authorities and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying I don't rely on them. It's just when they get to a point where they start abusing their power. I mean, already I have a thing with the cops where I have a hard time trusting them, because I may be another Rodney King waiting to happen, or another Sean Bell. You never know. It could be any of you out there. Not just me. It could be any of you. Or if you're wearing this kind of mask, you're seen as an enemy of the state. Meanwhile, these guys, anonymous as they call themselves, in fact, is trying to send a message peacefully saying that not just the government, but law enforcement in the United States is abusing their power. Not just in the United States, but any government that abuses their power should give the people the right to speak and possibly bring it into it, not violently, but through democracy and whatnot. So I'm not associated with Anonymous, but I support their cause, both Occupy Wall Street and Anonymous. But you don't see me flying around that mask every 5 seconds. Oh, whatever. You know, all that kind of stuff. And it's true. It's seen in some instances that this is a police state. Even with protesters, even people that has the First Amendment right. Matter of fact, freedom of the press, freedom of the speech. Even simple people who just works for the press is harassed by the police because they're supposedly, oh, you're on private property. Meanwhile, it's not. It's public property they're standing on. What I don't get with cops is just most of them. I mean, I'm not trying to bash the good ones out there. The good ones, at least they do their job, but they're outnumbered by the crooked, messed up, misled police officers, where unfortunately they just abuse their power and they hurt people, and we don't pay them to do that. And they're sworn an oath that they will protect and serve the public. Meanwhile, they do the exact opposite. Hysterically attack the public and scares the crap out of them. So, like I was saying, if nothing is done, if these police officers who misuse their power, I mean, not just police officers, also government officials, and whoever is in some kind of office or has some kind of political power or whatever, should be held accountable and should not be allowed to slip through the raindrops just because they have special perks. No. The cops, especially NYPD out there, the ones who misuse their power or just do crazy stuff that's not on the book, that's just off the book, you should be allowed to do, period, should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And also, I believe, pending an immediate investigation, whatever it is, they should be suspended without pay. They should not be assigned to a desk job, because even though they'll still give them a license to do stuff, because they'll be in the police station or police box, whatever you want to call it. They'll just be like sitting there waiting for something to happen. They'll go and just shoot the crap out of somebody while they're at it. No, suspension without pay, pending an investigation, and whatever their fate is, it should be decided by, not by a judge, but a group of people who's like a jury, like a group of selected individuals. I mean, I'm not talking about rigging it, but through democracy. But people who just do that is just, who just lets them slip through the raindrops, is just, they're not contributing to society. They're sucking the life out of society, because police officers, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, not all of them are bad, but most of them are messed up, and they do some crazy stuff that's like off the book. They do stuff that they're not allowed to, and they just vicariously, matter of fact, they do it with an intention, with intentions. Don't know what the heck they're up to. If you're paid to do it, like bribed or whatever, besides being paid, because what, they get paid like 90 grand, 60 grand a year. Anyway, so they just beat the crap out of people, just for the heck of it. They get a thrill out of it. Instead, they should be protecting and serving us, not harming us. That's starting to make us more weary, making us more scared of them. Like, literally, why should I trust you, officer, if you're gonna beat the crap out of me? Why? This one poor guy in Brooklyn, I forgot where it was, but I know it was somewhere by the border. I've seen a video of it. God, the cops just beat him silly with a belt, nightstick, whatever they can get their hands on. This is this poor, defenseless, unarmed guy walking about, mind his own business, just because he is a certain race, or should I say, he looks black or looks a certain way. They have the thing called stop and frisk, which I think that policy should be abolished right away. I don't care what it's supposed to do. It's not stopping crime. It's making people afraid of the police, trusting them. Instead of trusting them, you're making people, matter of fact, you're making enemies of the police, and you're gonna make more people hate you than what you need. But I'm not trying to bash anybody, but Mr. Ray Kelly and Bloomberg, cut the crap and abolish the stop and frisk, because I'm against that too. And you know what? This is my message. You know why? All law enforcement who abuses their power, or who just wants to do it for a paycheck, or doesn't really give a crap about the average citizen, this is my message. And all the politicians who abuse their power, screw you all to hell. You know why? Because you've got no respect for everybody else but yourselves and your constituents, who are probably messed up like you as well. So this is me saying you all to hell. You know what? I just said it 2 times, but I'm gonna say it again. You guys abuse their power. You guys abuse the power that we give you, and you're just gone insane. So look at yourself. And I don't care who you are, even if you're the chief of police, I'm not afraid of you. Because you know why? I got freedom of press on my side. If randomly one of your officers beats me up or beats somebody else up, he or she or me will whip out my cell phone or camera, take it on video, and I will report whoever it is to the DEA and have files taken out on you, and possibly not just make you lose your job, but possibly face jail time. And end of story. And also there will be people out there like these people wearing masks like this will find ways to publicly humiliate you. You feel scared when they come out after you, huh? Oh yeah, does it feel, huh? These just come after you. I'm not saying I'm trying to turn against anybody, but let's face it. Law enforcement and people who are in certain public offices and whatnot are just abusing their power, and they're hurting people as well. And the issue overseas, like in Syria, that same crap is going on, but except this is not Ryan King. This is a massacre of a whole population. And we're just sitting on the sidelines, just watching this happen. If we let something like this in our cities, even not on our streets, happening right in front of us, with people get the crap beaten out of them just because of who they are, what they stand for, what they look like. Meanwhile, we're trying to spread democracy that we have here, but instead, we're doing the same crap the oppressors are doing in Syria. Like Mohammed Assad, but except Mohammed Assad is just 1 or 2 cops, or whoever, a group of cops beat the crap out of one poor person. That's just, like just protesting or just walking on the street at the wrong place at the wrong time, or in the wrong neighborhood. Whatever, you decide. I can't take this anymore, man. The reason why I made this video is to prove a point that people we've given certain powers and rights, a message to simply say we won't stand for it anymore, for your oppression, and we'll also won't stand for your massacre of many people we haven't even met before. So, my word of advice: if you continue your path of destruction and tyranny, basically, we're going to use freedom of press and all that stuff to bring you down. So, I say, get you. Because why the heck I'm even spending my own tax dollars on not just the police force, but the government is somewhat repressive. I mean, I'm not bashing the whole government. I'm just bashing people who abuse their power. But the people who abuse their power, whoever watches this video, I'm on your side. Matter of fact, we could be friends if you want to. So, this is AZ192368. Out.